Well, look, the one thing that we got to give him credit for, though, is that he's a man of fashion. He understands how important it is to look good both on the runway and on the battlefield. And he addresses that in the next video.
I took over a depleted military, old equipment, broken equipment. Even in the Army, all brand new uniforms with the belt. Everybody wanted the belt.
Louis Vuitton. I made these beautiful, gorgeous Louis Vuitton belts with the big LV belt buckle for our beautiful troops. Our beautiful troops are gonna look good, because you gotta look good to play good, right?
Sugar Daddy Trump might be my new favorite Trump, actually.
yeah, it's amazing.
I took care of everything. I got him new belts. I got him new ships. I got him new everything. I take care of it. Daddy has it covered. Now give me some sugar, baby.
Watching Pence in the vice presidential debate, it brought me back to like a previous era of politics in which, like, because Pence knows all the tricks. Like, he knows all the things that Republicans used to traditionally do, and like how to frame it, and how to be like, thank you so much, Susan, for the great question. Here's me not answering the question. Like, it's just he felt like such a throwback, and Trump kind of single-handedly destroyed an entire type of political talk that, like, every politician kind of sounds the same. Like, every politician, if you just kind of close your eyes and let it wash over you, they all kind of say the same words, and they have the same kind of cadence and rhetorical trick. Trump is like such a sledgehammer to that whole thing, and he proved that, like, people like don't give a shit about like that smarmy sort of like, you know what, at the end of the day, I just love my country, and I want to do what's best, and thank you, Susan. Like, I think we can all agree on this stage, like, we may have our differences, but we all like just love America and want the best for everyone, or something, like all those kind of things that I'm talking about, like, the politicians like always kind of did. Trump like took a sledgehammer to that whole thing and just brought that whole edifice down. And if there is like a silver lining to the Trump nightmare, it's that maybe that from the ashes of that destruction of that whole edifice, that whole kind of smarmy, just fakeness of American politics, that someone could come in and with a different type of politics. I mean, that is the kind of very hopeful silver lining to the whole thing.
Yeah, what's amazing is how difficult it is for politicians, establishment politicians specifically, to like readjust and find a way to communicate in a way that appeals to people. Like, anytime you hear, especially Democratic leadership, try to go after Donald Trump, their videos are awful. Like, they're hard to watch and they're embarrassing, right? Like, they don't know how to fight back. They immediately go back to the way they've been communicating, which just is not an effective way. It's not an effective way to offer up a retort to like whatever crazy, statement Donald Trump put out there. By the way, how about don't always be in the position of having to defend yourself? That's the other issue.
Yeah.
Like, Trump goes out and he throws punches left and right. He doesn't care, right? Everyone's always playing defense around him. I just want someone on the left who knows how to communicate and who can play offense, because there's so much like material to use against the Republican Party. I just haven't seen anyone use that material effectively yet.
Yeah, and the funny thing, the last two Democrats, to my mind, who were sort of good at what you're talking about, is delivering something that could come off as authentic, ironically, is Barry. He was really good at playing the dozens and snappy quips. Like, I remember when Jordan dissed his golf game, he said, well, Mike should worry about his team, the Charlotte Hornets, who basically missed the playoffs every single season. It was just like a quick jab, like, you suck at running a basketball team, right? Like, and Bernie was good at getting down to the facts and having good quips. Like Hillary Clinton, when she's like, well, Donald, you didn't pay your taxes, did you? Like,
you're not even a real billionaire, you loser.
It just doesn't land the way you need it to. And Joe is, with his come on, man.
I know.
It doesn't hit the way it needs to. But yeah, I think Barry and Bernie were actually really good at talking like human beings and be like, what? He said, what? What about X, Y, and Z? And I don't think, and I don't think that's Kamala's thing either. Kamala is very academic dynamic. She's like your stern principal almost. And you know, ironically, obviously she was a cop, but like she's just like a stern, like scold. Like, excuse me, mind your manners, sir. You know, and I don't think that's an effective way to communicate.
You're right,
Right.
that Barry had swag. I mean, I encourage people to go on YouTube and look at the Democratic debates from 2008 between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. I mean, he was vicious towards her.
He was
like,
mean.
Vicious. Like
They called him sexist for it afterwards, and I was proud of him.
But yeah, like woke discourse like was just kind of starting then. It hadn't really kind of taken hold. But like had someone spoken to Hillary Clinton like that in 2016, you know, because Bernie was comparatively very gentle compared to Obama, like it would have been like an absolute meltdown. But like it was starting to happen, but it hadn't kind of become as hegemonic as it is now. And yeah, he was like absolutely merciless. Like he was just vicious, you know, and that works, you know. Voters
it worked for Trump in his primary when all of those little nicknames, like, and we talk about it all the time, but it was effective. Low energy Jeb Bush, basically saying you can't get it up anymore, Jeb. You know, Lion Ted, little Marco Rubio.
Little Marco is spectacular.
And he would just keep really talking about, are you still thirsty? Do you need some water? Because of the, you know, the water thing. Like, he was very good at that, but I don't think that's going to be Joe Biden's thing. And in fact, and you know, to bring it back around to Barry and that White House Correspondents' Dinner, where everybody thinks like that was basically the start of Trump. Like, I want to kill this guy. Barry was just, he was mean and vicious to the Donald at that dinner. And you know, I don't think there's anybody on the Democratic side. It's just like, it's the worst of both worlds. It's stupid, you know, sort of focus group to death, cautious ass corporate speak with none of the policies that either of us want and none of the fun stuff. It's just like, what are you actually giving me, guys?